When you think about it, this just in, typewriter noises. Apparently, my former roommate felt the need at some point recently to email one of my friends. Apparently, to let said friend know I made up the whole she cheated thing. First of all, it's been over 6 weeks. I've moved on. Second, as I see it, if someone feels the need to go out of their way to message someone to let them know that whatever you heard about ain't true, it's true. Just saying. If you were innocent, would you feel the need to go on and actually it isn't true? No, really. Never happened to her. Come on. Pathetic, really. I've accepted my mistakes in that whole debacle, and I am in treatment to learn why and to learn how to choose a better partner in the future. While she apparently is screaming fake news to whomever. Typical covert narcissist, gaslight, shift blame, really sad. Update. From no contact to ghosting. How to handle a cheater in 2022. Today is 7 weeks since I called out my former roommate about her cheating. 7 weeks since I told her that I knew. 7 weeks since I told her that we were done, that her presence in my home was no longer welcome. 7 weeks since I kicked her the F out. It is also 7 glorious weeks since I ghosted her back in my day. It had a much more clinical term. No contact. I've had bad relationships before. I've gone no contact before. Now at age 48, after wasting age 39 through 48 with that narcissist, emotionally abusive former roommate, I much prefer what the kids are calling it today. Ghosting. Has a much more mysterious air about it. You become a ghost. You just fade away. To them, you no longer exist. To me, I've just blocked her from all forms of Kim, deleted every email, photograph, card, letter, social media post. I'm editing her out of my 7-year-old blog about my cats and tech and have donated tons of crap she left behind when she ran off in fear and shame to the local Goodwill. When she sees other people wearing her sketches, all she will think of is I'm a ghost. All my friends have blocked her as well. I'm told that she has even messaged 1 or 2 of my not close Facebook friends in an attempt to shift the blame on me. The cheating, he made it up, was the apparent message. Without success, I might add. One such Facebook friend, upon informing me of said message from her, responded with the quite effective as if that difference is the effect, or is it the effect of ghosting? So to those of you who post their stories and ask, what should I do? Should I leave her? Should I break up with him? What do I say? Ghost. Once a cheater, always a cheater. They will not change. I get that having children or being married complicates the ghosting. Nevertheless, ghost. 8 weeks ago, I had plans to self from my bedroom closet door because I was so unhappy with the fact that my one-time girlfriend was nothing more than a roommate and hadn't touched me in 5 years and was cheating with her UPS man because I felt I had no way out. Then I saw the texts. Well, look at me now. I'm a ghost. I'm happier than I've been in at least 5 years. So if they've treated you like that, be a ghost. They deserve nothing less than that from you. Stay strong. Our first reaction comes from MediaMod 8849. Tom Clancy would be proud of you. Our next response comes from 645-57175. I googled my goblin. Still chat with her parents and brother from time to time, as they are really good people, and our relationship is built on more than my relevance to their relative. The topic never goes to her because she's a ghost to them and how they relate to me, which is nice. I'm glad you're here with us rather than in your closet. That would just be another great thing wasted by a ghost. Like a left behind a pair of sketches, you're better than that, though. Go out and find the good stuff. Another comment from Armor Teague 227. To me, I've just blocked her from all forms of communication, deleted every email, photograph, card, letter, social media post, and editing her out of my 7-year-old blog about my cats and tech, and have donated tons of crap she left behind when she ran off in fear and shame to the local Goodwill. Cheers, brother, to your first step to a larger and better world. On to the next story. I, 26 female, cut my partner, 27 male, of 2 years texting another girl, and he lied about it. Don't know if I should leave or stay. This is a throwaway account because he knows my Reddit username. I will try to make this as short as possible, but I'm feeling sad, helpless, and confused, and this sub seems like the right place to hopefully seek some guidance. I, 26 female, saw my partner, 27 male, of 2 years texting another girl, and he lied about it. We live together and have spent the majority of the relationship in lockdown. We're from Australia. So the relationship developed quite quickly, and it is my first real relationship. I met him at a party shortly after a very brief relationship with the guy who became violent and physically abusive, which left me traumatized, disillusioned, and vulnerable. He fell in love with me instantly and believed that I was a soulmate. It felt like serendipity. He was with his ex-girlfriend for 6 years. He's always been adamant that he has never cheated on anyone, and he would never cheat because he saw his ex-stepdad cheat on his mom, and that's not who he is. It's true that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe the first time, but I don't know who he is anymore. In December of last year, he started being distant and weird. He's always affectionate and he can be moody, but this was different. I had this really strong gut feeling. Something was off. So I asked to go through his phone. He's always giving me access to his phone, which gave me the impression he has nothing to hide. He became angry and defensive and called me paranoid and psycho. And threw his phone on the couch. I went through every single app and found something in his Keep app, like notes for Google Phone. And read, "Hey. Sorry for not replying earlier. I was at a farm over the weekend with no reception and didn't get back until late last night. We were on a break when I met you, and it not something I do have done." I was devastated and furious. He said he met her one night at a bar when he was drunk, and she asked him for his number. He said it was his response to her text saying, "I know you have a girlfriend, but do you want to hang out?" But he never sent it and deleted her number. He said he did it because was feeling sad and unsure about the relationship because he thought he couldn't make me happy. But he realized he really wanted to be with me and felt so guilty was eating him up inside, and that's why he was acting distant. I guess we were in a bit of a rough patch, but we had made up when this supposedly happened. Our arguments were mostly me being upset about his lack of effort and feeling neglected in the relationship. He's not the best partner. He's lazy, doesn't cook, doesn't clean. He basically makes a lot more than I do, so it does help provide for me in that way. Though he is irresponsible with money and doesn't save anything, which is worrying when he says he wants to build a future with me. He spends most of his money on tobacco, Ubers, takeaway food delivery, and cocaine on the weekends, which is $300 a gram over here. He lost his job during the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic and got paid out $14,000. And spent all of it in 3 months. The government allowed early access to superannuation for people financially impacted by the pandemic, and he was through the entire $20,000, and it's gone. He's also quite emotionally immature and has highly narcissistic traits and tendencies, which have now surfaced in a way I have never imagined. He's a good-looking guy. He's charming and he's flirty, but he says it's just part of his personality. Anyway, I was panicking and crying, and I was ready to leave him. But he apologized profusely and told me he only wants to be with me and begged me to give him a second chance, so I did. The things were okay for a while. But some days, it just hit me again, and I couldn't move past it, which made him angry because he just wanted to forget about it and pretend it never happened. I couldn't trust him. And all I wanted was to talk to this girl to find out what really happened and wouldn't stop until I did. So I did some digging and found out the truth. I went into his laptop, which is synced with his Google account. I went through his recently deleted contacts, and there was one that wasn't there before. Which was strange because he has heaps of random numbers in his phone and never deletes them. It was saved under Alan Cafe. I called the number and a girl answered. I hung up straight away, added the number to my contacts and found her name through Snapchat. I asked him, "Who's Alana?" And he said, "What are you talking about? I've never met anyone named Alana." I dropped it, and the next day I texted her and asked her if she was the girl who had been talking to my boyfriend. She replied and told me he asked her for her number while she was at work in December last year. She said she had no idea he had a girlfriend. They messaged for a bit, but never saw each other. She sent me screenshots of their conversations, and I felt like I was going to pass out. She said she found him on Facebook and saw me in his picture and asked him if I was his girlfriend, to which he said, yes and no. I'm not really sure what we are right now. She asked him if he usually messages girls while he's in a relationship, and he never replied. He was lying in my lap when I showed him the messages. Got up and went into the bedroom. I didn't cry, didn't get mad. I just sat there while he told me he was sorry, and how much he hates himself. Says he will do anything to make me happy again, but he hasn't really done anything to even try to make me feel better or earn my trust back. My dad left me the key to his apartment. Lives on the coast with his fiancée. So a few days later, I just packed my bags and left while he was out. I could stay with my friends, but I just feel like a burden. The loneliness is excruciating. Even though I already feel so alone in the relationship, I thought I needed some time alone in a familiar environment. But it's not healthy for me to be alone, but I'm depressed as this has led to me abusing alcohol and into the psychiatric hospital in the past. I have struggled with depression and anxiety for 10 years, and have been in an inpatient and a psychiatric hospital 3 times. I didn't hear from him, so I called him the next day. He said he was really upset, and he wanted me to come home so we could work it out and talk. So I came back and we kissed him, made up. We've still been having sex, but I don't look at him that way I did before. I don't know if I will ever be able to trust him again, and I don't know whether it's worth the incessant paranoia and insecurity. The anxiety and intrusive thoughts keep me awake at night, and I already have trouble sleeping. I never thought he would do this to me. The man who pulled me out of the darkest period in my life and restored my faith and love. All of this has taken a huge toll on my already fragile mental health. I'm so sad. I'm seeing my psychiatrist this week, and I want to go back to seeing my psychologist regularly. But at this moment, I don't know what to do. I love him, and I know I deserve better. But I've invested so much into this relationship and our home together. I don't know how to let go. Our first response is from Tertiary 78. Wow. Your partner is terrible. Just because he sucks less than your last partner doesn't mean he doesn't suck as a partner. You gave a laundry list of why you should break up without the infidelity, but the infidelity just puts it over the top. He needs to go. Our next response is from. Hey. I'm sorry you're here, and you are going through this. I'm also Australian. Melbourne, and totally get the stresses about lockdown. You sound really mature, and unfortunately, your partner doesn't. In my opinion, these kinds of lies are damaging and they grow over time. I personally can't trust someone after things like this, but that's the decision you need to make for yourself. For now, focus on yourself. It won't take long, then you will get clarity and be able to make a decisive decision. Be kind to yourself, and don't be afraid to expect more from your partners. This kind of behavior isn't normal. On to the next story. Not attracted to my husband anymore after he cheated. A year ago, my husband cheated on me with a coworker that lasted a month. They kissed and flirted. He swears she kept coming on to him, and he didn't like her like that. That she pecked him, but he didn't like it as if. I offended her to believe a girl randomly tried to kiss a married man with kids without being invited. We have kids together, so I've been trying reconciliation because he kept begging for me. A year has passed, and he's been doing everything he needs to. Cleans and cooks dinner, never on his phone, got into therapy, got a remote job, very present with us, a great dad. He's doing pretty much everything I need him to, but I'm not attracted to him anymore. I don't love him like I used to before this happened. I loved and trusted him so much. Now I don't. And I can't help it. I was so heartbroken a year ago. Now we could do this again, and I would feel nothing. We just coexist for the kids, and he keeps promising I'll get feelings back. I desire to be in love. I have a really high libido, but I do not want to be sexual at all with him. He's disappointed on how much my feelings changed, but I can't help it. He keeps saying he'll fix it. He tells me he loves me every day, but I haven't loved him since this happened. I don't love him anymore. Anyone in this situation, did it ever come back? Our first response comes from professional pilot 45. Consequences. This year is part of the fallout that so many, maybe all wayward spouses don't factor in. Affairs kill the betrayed spouse's libido for the wayward spouse, sometimes for a while, sometimes forever. Thus, I'm not attracted to him anymore. So the only question for UOP is, can you live with this? Such a lose-lose situation. May I ask you, did you get therapy for the trauma of his trail by affair? VOP replies, I never got therapy, and I don't think I can continue much longer. I should look into therapy, but sometimes I hear horror stories. Our next answer comes from Dreaded Avenger. Infidelity kills love. Infidelity kills attraction. Anyone who is thinking of doing it, infidelity kills love and attraction. You read the stories where people are trying to arc. They have a great day, and then the betrayer spouse cries. They are crying because they know their love is dying. It's okay for you to want better. The default reaction to being cheated on should always be ending it. You gave him more than he deserves. If you are done, you're done. And one more answer from Miss Motormouth. I know what you mean. Sex with my soon-to-be ex-husband just became yick. I definitely did not want to have another child with him. I began coexisting with him, but I was climbing out of love for a long time. I'll admit, I dead bedroomed him towards the end. Honestly, if he started to do everything right and managed to unscrew his affair partners, it is still over. I want to be with someone who I know is loyal.